You are probably watching this video right now because you no longer have control over your mind and your body. That means that your nervous system is acting without your consent, and now you are looking for a permanent way out. The problem with a lot of advice that you see online is they give you temporary fixes. Going on long walks, taking deep breaths, all in all, they may be good in the moment, but they're not actually creating real sustainable change to help you permanently get to a place of calm and ease. Because not a lot of people share how truly powerful and transformational having a regulated nervous system can do for your life. Because having a calm nervous system gives you greater capacity to hold bigger problems. And when I say bigger problems, I'm talking about making more money, holding bigger opportunities, being able to attract beautiful friendships and relationships that feel like home, but also being able to be your most confident self. Just a disclaimer here, if you are watching this video for a quick fix, unfortunately, this is not the place to be, and I highly recommend that you clicked out of this video because if you have trained your nervous system to experience anxiety, depression, shame, guilt, anger, any type of fear-based emotion for the past 10, 20, even 30 years, you bet your ass that it's gonna take a bit more time and effort to recondition your body to a brand new life. I just wanna put that out there before you get too invested in this video, because anything that is life-changing is going to require a bit more effort from you. And if you are someone who is ready to do the real work, I'm not just talking about watching these videos, but actually transforming, I provide worksheets for every single one of my videos. In these worksheets, you'll find in-depth journaling prompts as well as practical exercises to help you start removing your limiting beliefs and to write out an action plan so you can start living out as your highest self today. You can access these worksheets down in the description below. Now let's dive right into the video. If we are changing our nervous system, we need to first understand how the nervous system works and why it becomes reactive. Your nervous system is built to help you perceive any sort of threat that could potentially harm you physically. So for example, if you are getting chased by a bear, then obviously your stress hormones are gonna kick in. You're gonna feel this huge influx of energy rushing through your body, especially in your legs, and it's going to alert you to either fight or flight. Are you going to fight the bear or are you gonna run away from the bear? So your body tends to react in a way where it gives you all of the energy, all of the resources needed to survive in that moment. But if your body perceives that angry email that you received from your boss as threat, or if your body perceives that text that you got from your toxic ex that cheated on you as a threat, or if you get cut off in traffic and your body perceives that as a threat, then you're essentially using the same stress hormones as if you are being chased by a bear. The way that your body gets conditioned is through either repetition or a big, major life experience that you've had that ultimately changed the course of your entire life. And it kind of changes your brain chemistry in some way, because if you were to think about a really bad breakup where you were so madly in love with this person, but this person betrayed you, that is a huge emotional experience. If you were harmed in some way as a vulnerable child, that is also a very big and life-changing experience. And when we use those major experiences as a way to kind of put meaning in the world about how dangerous the life outside of you is and how I am prone to being betrayed, I am prone to being harmed again, when we are constantly perceiving our external life as a threat based on the past experiences that we've had, unfortunately, that is going to create a very dysregulated nervous system, because your body is essentially just trying to protect you from never re-experiencing that past again. Another way where you may have conditioned your nervous system is through repetition. Repetition of your identity or repetition around beliefs about the world. So for example, if identity, you've been told your whole life that you're not smart enough, you'll never amount to anything, you're not pretty. Your parents may have said, people like us will never be rich. People like us will never be skinny. People like us will never be smart enough. These are just beliefs, and you have bought into those beliefs. You were just a child. You didn't know any better. Now imagine how many times you experience negative emotions on a daily basis. So whether it is still you grieving a life life-changing moment in your life that you still haven't fully healed from. And also still carrying on beliefs about yourself and the world, those experiences and those beliefs and emotions are causing you to feel anxiety, stress, anger, judgment, loneliness. These were all the emotional experiences that you have conditioned your body to experience. And through repeating the emotional patterns of these negative emotions, it will only strengthen the connection in your brain to continually re-experience those emotions every single day. And next thing you know, in 10, 20, 30 years, you are still experiencing anxiety. In 10, 20, 30 years, you are still experiencing uncontrollable anger. And this is no accident, because you are going through the same emotional patterns, expecting something to change, expecting something magical to happen without any sort of changes in your life, and you're kind of experiencing this emotion to just kind of go away on its own. But it's not gonna happen. It can get as bad as your body having a panic attack without you, or even experiencing passing out in public. And this is just your body notifying you and telling you how much stress your body has been through, that your body starts acting up without you. Because your nervous system keeps notifying your body that there is some sort of danger that you may have experienced 10 years ago, that you are still reliving that experience in your body in one way or another. If you are experiencing the same stress hormones 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 10 years on end, your body is going to wear out so quickly. And that's why your body is taking in all of this exerted energy, and your body gets tired. And your body is going to have to use that energy towards survival, then going through and actually proportionately distributing its energy towards maintaining a healthy body. So that's why a lot of people say that you need to regulate your nervous system if you're aiming for longevity. You need to regulate your nervous system if you want to look healthier, if you want to feel healthier. You could be eating the cleanest and healthiest foods in the world. But if you are not able to regulate your nervous system, it is still going to deeply damage your body. It does not matter how healthy you eat, how healthy your habits are. If you have a dysregulated nervous system, it is going to cause more harm than good. So in what ways are you reaffirming the stress hormones every single day? The moment that you experience any sort of survival stress emotion, your awareness and your body is in one of two places, either in the past or in the future. The past being experiencing depression, shame, guilt, anger. These are all emotions of powerlessness. And because you have experienced those negative memories in the past, your nervous system is constantly in this lookout. If your body is still experiencing the past memories in your body and constantly perceiving life as a threat in some way that is causing you to have a dysregulated nervous system, your body is going to use that memory as an affirmation of what's going to happen in the future. So then your nervous system starts to get really worried. Your nervous system is perceiving that as a real potential reality that could happen in the future, and it's keeping yourself in a known reality. And the reason why you have these emotions is because you are using those past memories to reaffirm what your future would look like by holding on to the memories of the past. So what happens? Your past becomes your future. If your past is a constant repeat of this day, every single week, how much room are you creating in your internal thoughts and feelings for a brand new story? Because in this pattern where you're reliving the same exact scenario every single day, nothing is going to change, because your outcomes are being led by your decisions, and your decisions are being led by your emotions and feelings, and your emotions and feelings are led by your identity. So if you are not changing your identity, who do you need to be to create a brand new story for yourself? If you are not consciously changing your story, then your past is going to look exactly like the future. You may also think that it's the triggers in your external reality that is causing you to feel those emotionals. But in fact, you need your angry boss in your life. You need that awful job. You need that toxic ex. Because without it, you will have no way to reaffirm the familiar emotions that you experience every day. Your body is so caught up with the familiar emotions that your body needs those terrible triggers to reaffirm that emotional payoff. It is not the external circumstances that are causing you to be reactive, but it is the emotional addiction to it that is causing you to seek out things outside in your life to reaffirm that emotional payoff. So an example would be your toxic ex, and every time you think of your ex, you feel extreme anger. So no problem, let's put him in a straitjacket, let's shoot him to the moon, and never see him again. Now what? Does that mean you're never going to experience anger again? And the issue with that is no, because now that you don't have that specific reason to cause the emotional payoff of anger, you are going to find it in other sources. You're going to find it in other circumstances that give you that same emotional payoff. You'll find another toxic person to date, or you're going to use traffic as a way to reaffirm your anger, or you're going to use your angry boss as a way to reaffirm your anger. And it is not the triggers that need to be erased or need to be gone, but it's the emotional programs within you that need to change. So if you were to think about your day-to-day routine, at what point are you creating a brand new reality? At what point are you feeling emotions of gratitude, of presence? Because if you do not have those moments, your emotional patterns are going to remain the exact same. All of your creative energy is flowing away from you, and you're putting your focus and attention and energy on all of the known parts of your reality. LinkedIn, Instagram, your coworkers, your angry boss, and you're directing your energy away to the known parts of your reality that keeps reinforcing itself. So because of your attachment to the known, of course you're gonna keep predicting your future as if it's the same. So how do you create a brand new reality where you are less emotionally reactive? Since where you place your attention is where you place your energy, then if you keep placing your awareness on your known life, your energy is invested in the familiar life. But if you were to invest your energy in the unknown field of possibilities beyond what you've always known, you're going to be drawing a brand new experience to you. And that brand new experience is being able to experience more calm, so you have the greater capacity to experience more in your life. The question that you should be asking yourself is not, why is my nervous system reacting? Because your nervous system is going to give you a million surface level reasons why you should freak out. But the real question that you should be asking yourself is, at what point does this end? And the truth to that answer is that it will never end unless you stop giving it the emotional attention. Because a regulated nervous system can only exist when your focus and awareness is on the present moment. So the present moment is the only place where you can experience joy, love, abundance, acceptance, peace, courage, wholeness, freedom. Those emotions only exist when your focus is on the present moment. So if you have ever experienced a sunset, when you're admiring the beauty of a sunset, you're like, wow, life is so slow. I feel like there's such vibrant colors, and you're noticing everything about that sunset. But that is you living in the present, and you have access to that presence in every single moment of your life. But you're just paying particularly close attention to the sunset because you're allowing yourself to do so. Now, as soon as you rest your attention in the present moment, you start to realize that you've had free will to make different choices this entire time. And this is the place where infinite possibility exists. The reason why I'm sharing all of this before I go into the practices and how to actually regulate your nervous system is because you need this foundational understanding before the how actually clicks in for you. So the million-dollar question is, how do you permanently regulate your nervous system by staying in the present moment? You need to be so aware of where your awareness is at all times. Are you in the past or are you in the future? Because if your awareness is either in the past or the future, you're only going to be creating the same known reality. But if you stay in the present moment, this is where everything will change for you. This is where you're creating greater capacity and greater space to attract new things into your life and to regulate and have a deeper sense of trust in the universe. Because that's what having a regulated nervous system really is. It's trusting that everything's going to be okay. It's trusting that the universe has its own divine timing, and trusting that even if you get the outcome now, later, in the future, you're still going to be okay. This part is about training your mind to stay in the present moment. When I'm constantly thinking of a million things that's happening in my reality, I am still creating a known reality. That's where my focus and attention is on. But I give myself 1 hour every single day to get my brain back into the state of presence. At the start of every single day, I do a 1 hour meditation, and a 1 hour meditation may seem quite long, but I use this as a moment to bring my focus, energy, and attention back into the present moment. Because when I'm thinking about other things, I'm essentially still living in the past. My body is still living in the past. My nervous system is still remembering something in the past, which is creating a known reality. But if I'm able to overcome myself in the morning, where I keep shifting my attention back to the present, I keep going back into it, then I know that if I can overcome myself in the morning, I can overcome myself for the rest of the day. And that meditation alone sets me up for success for the rest of the day. When you're in the process of sitting still with your body in meditation, you're going to find that your mind is going to be so scattered, and your mind's going to be constantly thinking of different things that are capturing your attention away from the present moment. You want to think of your frantic mind and your dysregulated nervous system as if it's a dog that has gone through a lot of trauma. And these dogs have been there because they had suffered through so much abuse from the past, or gone through a past owner that didn't love them anymore, didn't want them anymore. And just imagine the fear in their eyes when they're in this animal shelter. So say that you're kind enough and say, I would love to adopt a dog. So you bring a dog home, you bring the dog into a very lovely, very safe, nurturing home, and you learn that this dog, before you took this dog in, that dog went through very intensive animal testing and lived in laboratories and was constantly going through abuse and struggle. And now that this dog is in your house, is that dog going to immediately open up to you? Absolutely not. But instead, that dog is going to be so afraid of you because that dog has experienced fear, abuse for his entire life. So your approach isn't to force the dog to love you or force the dog to be more affectionate, force the dog to be more playful, but it's about the active work of slowly getting the dog to warm up, slowly getting the dog to feel more comfortable in the present moment, to feel comfortable in your space, and then the dog is going to slowly crawl out of its shell, and then he will start feeling safe around you. You need to see the nervous system the same exact way. You can't force your nervous system to be calm, because if you've tried that before, you're only going to intensify the anxiety, intensify the anger, intensify that emotion that you want to stop. And the truth is, whatever you resist persists. Every sort of resistance you have around a very strong emotion will only keep bursting, exploding, and that emotion is only going to expand with time. So when you're sitting in meditation and you're starting to feel all the million things that are coming up in your mind, as well as the stress hormones starting to be released, and this rush of energy, rush of anxiety of, I have a million things to do right now, sit with your body and be aware of the body. And just like how you would be aware and how you would sit with this anxious dog, be with the dog. Stop trying to control those feelings. Stop trying to control anything, but just allow those emotions to come up, down, feel the emotions, be there with it, and allow it to pass. Because emotions are not permanent. Emotions cannot hurt us. No matter how painful they are in the moment, if we feel and sit with it, it will only pass with time. So as you feel these thoughts coming and going, arising and falling, everything that you've created in this reality, all the anxiety, stress, fear, has all been created with your known reality, which means that everything around you has been created by your frequency. So if you want to create a new life where you have a bigger life, where you have the capacity to hold greater resilience, have emotional mastery, you need to cut ties with your known reality by sitting in meditation and sitting in the blackness, where you're not identifying yourself by your body, where you're not identifying your life with your environment, where you're no longer identifying time. As we've talked about earlier in the video, where we place our attention is where we place our energy. So the more that we put our attention and focus on the known reality, the more attachment we have in our place, body, environment, time, then that is only going to create the same exact outcome in the future. That's why when we're in meditation, we need to focus on nothingness. And you want to remind yourself that I am in charge of creating my reality. You are the one that is creating all of the proof around you, around why your life sucks. Those beliefs actually come first. So, since you know the formula to creation, you need to start refocusing that energy from your outer environment into your inner reality. So having more opportunities where you're focusing on presence. Make sure that for a majority of your day, you are focusing on the present moment rather than fixated on the past and future. This is where we're ending the cycle of letting reality control our emotions, thoughts, and energy, but allowing our energy, emotions, thoughts to control our reality. That we get to take control over our own internal reality first, and then the proof will follow. That is how it works. All of these can be created within without any sort of physical thing required to bring us that emotion, because it's simply the emotion that we're after. The more that you're able to sit and stay in the present moment, putting your awareness and focus on the present moment, the more likely you're going to be able to permanently rewire your subconscious mind to have a more regulated nervous system. And when you're sitting in meditation, especially if it's your first time meditating, it's going to be tough. And I'm not telling you that's going to be easy, but if you have conditioned your mind and body to experience 10, 20, 30 years of anxiety, isn't it safe to say that it's going to take a bit more work out of you to recondition your body back to safety? Just like any brand new skill that you learn, like riding a bike, learning Chinese, learning how to draw, learning how to write, learning how to read, learning how to walk, learning how to salsa, learning how to play handball. These are all skills that you have acquired through time, but it does not necessarily mean that it is unattainable, because like any skill, it takes constant repetition. And there is a wonderful quote by H. Jackson Brown: in the confrontation between the stream and the rock, the stream always wins, not through strength, but by perseverance. That means that a stream actually has the power to break a rock in half, but not through the actual strength of breaking the rock in half, but consistently breaking in between that rock, and therefore that rock does end up breaking. And there is one final thing that I want you to take away from this video, which is that everything eventually works itself out. Nothing is permanent and everything is going to be okay. Something that I really love to say when I'm in meditation or when I'm just living my day-to-day and I find myself being quite anxious is I always return back to my own personal mantra, which is everything's gonna be okay. Because it's true. Everything will eventually be okay, no matter how poorly you messed up in the past, no matter how big your past mistakes were. Eventually, everything does end up working itself out, and in the end, you are still okay. And just imagine yourself like the dog, the traumatized dog that is entering a brand new home. Because that dog initially is not going to trust that he is safe. Trusting is the only pathway to love, and love is how you can permanently regulate your nervous system. Now, we've reached the end of this video. If you want to implement everything that I've taught in this video, then check out my worksheets down below. And if you are on a journey of becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you love, check out my channel, because I make a ton of videos about self-worth, relationships, love, money, literally all things high value woman energy. And if you love this video, I highly recommend that you check out this video over here. This video is about how to have lucky girl syndrome, and I provide tips and tools that you probably have not heard on the internet ever before, so please check that out. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!